Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for an amazing session of the Daily African Proverbs. My name is Simon Javan Okelo. I am joining you from Seattle, Washington, and I have a really wonderful guest here today, my brother Andrew Barnett, who is going to be speaking to you just in a moment here. But Andrew is a leader, and Andrew specializes in merger acquisitions, and is also a serial entrepreneur, and he's someone I look up to. We are going to learn a bit from him today, and we are also going to center our conversation on an amazing proverb from South Sudan. And before I share with you the proverb, I just want to share with you a couple of things about today's conversation. Number one is our topic today is around procrastination. Is procrastination a thief of time? That's our Clubhouse topic. But there are four primary areas that I want us to explore today to help us deepen our understanding of this proverb. Number one of the ways that personally whenever I am dealing with procrastination, because I procrastinate a lot, before this show began, Andrew and I were just talking about how much he has a lot going on at the same time, and I pretty much feel the same. I have this podcast, I have my non-profit organization, I have my media company, I have my children, I have my family in Kenya, and none of that can stop, So, when you look at this proverb, when the monkey can't reach the ripe banana with his hand, he says it is not sweet. The monkey is procrastinating. The monkey is creating excuses. So, number one thing for you to consider before we begin our conversation is one of the solutions when you're dealing with procrastination is create a to-do list and add deadlines to that to-do list for every item on your list. Number two, set alarms on your phone or computer reminding you of the tasks that you need to complete. And also number three, reward yourself with something small after completing each task on your list. And then finally, take breaks in between tasks so that you don't get burned out. Those are some of the things I want you to consider as we are beginning our conversation today. But before I go too far, I just want you to know that today we are going to learn a lot from Andrew. We are going to learn about his thoughts on this proverb, his interpretation of the proverb. Number two, we are going to learn about a childhood story of Andrew that still inspires him as a leader today. And then we are going to learn a little bit about some of his accomplishments as a mergers and acquisition specialist, and also as a serial entrepreneur. And then finally, I want us to also learn from Andrew what his ideas of overcoming laziness and procrastination are, because all of us struggle with that, and all of us also deserve to be just a little lazy sometime, just to take a little more time to think. I don't think intentionally taking time to take care of yourself and to think and even relax and rejuvenate is a problem, but when you do it too much and it becomes a habit, then it becomes a problem. So without saying much, I want you, first of all, before you hear Andrew's voice, I want you to please, check out our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. I am going to pin that link right now at the top of the room on Clubhouse, so that those who have never been to the channel can go ahead and subscribe. And number two, if you are with us on Clubhouse right now, I want to encourage you to ping in 5 people who can join us for today's conversation live and direct on Clubhouse. We can't do this without the entire village. We want to make this space a little warmer, and we can do that with your help. So ping in, about 5 people. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Please share the link to this live stream with your community members and invite them so that they join us at this early stage of our conversation. My brother Andrew, just feel free to add anything to introduce yourself before you jump into into what this proverb means to you. Really quickly though, Andrew was one of the people that helped us make Africa Day possible last year. Through him we were able to bring Dr. George Fraser. If you want, you can speak to who he is a little, and also you are able to introduce us to Ambassador Chiombori Kwao. You can speak to who she is a little, but the people you are connected to, determine who you are. And I feel that the people you have connected me to, slowly is beginning to define who I'm becoming. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Again, I'm honored to be here. And one of the things that I've learned early in life, I think even when I was in college, was one of my passions was creating a database of people that I met. And that began my journey really about networking. And as you know, Dr. Fraser, that's his whole reason for being, and that's where he has made his money, is in connecting people. And I think that that's, as someone who's being mentored by Dr. Fraser, that's, it really falls into what I'm all about, and it's about networking. And you can't be in business without networking and getting to know people. And it's not really about transactions. It's about building really authentic relationships so that you could pick up the phone and call someone and they'll speak with you and help you. And again, it's a two-way road. And I think that's what Dr. Fraser has really ingrained in me is how to build those relationships. And and you cannot do business without having solid relationships, and that's what he has really empowered me to do, and I love it, and I'm honored to have sat under his tutelage, and really thankful for the opportunity to work with him. Just in terms of the proverb, I think the proverb is really tremendous, because what it says to me is it's most people give up on their dreams. And to me, what the monkey had a dream of getting to that ripe banana, and at some point he's not able to reach it, and so he dismisses it. And I think that that's how most people go through life. They go through life with dreams. They start out as a young person with a certain dream, and along the way they get tainted by all the obstacles that come along fulfilling that dream. And sometimes they give up, and they become very down on life, and not fulfilled. And that's one of the things that I want to say, is that do not give up on your dreams, even though it may take 20 or 30 years. Just keep moving. And I think if you were to look at what my life is all about, it's about not giving up. I grew up in a family. There were I have 6 other siblings, 7 of us in total, and for the most part, I grew up with a single, just my mom alone, who raised 7 kids, and from that mere example of her taking care of 7 kids, telling us at an early age that you're all going to go to college, um, and being able to see how that manifested itself. I think that that's what it's all about. And for this particular proverb, it's like, do not give up on your dreams. Um, and I think what happened is, and my philosophy in life is no regrets, no retreats, and no reserves. It means leaving everything out on the field. And um, Dr. Miles Monroe, another one of my mentors, said, the wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard, because most people take their dreams and all the plans that they want, they take it to the grave with them. And just like the monkey, they allow life to stop them from fulfilling their dreams. And you know, along the course of my life, there've been so many obstacles. There's even as we speak today, there are obstacles. But what I've learned is to be a master problem solver. And the way you get to be a master problem solver is you put yourself in problems that are big, and you find your way out of it. And I'll give you an example. When I was going to business school, I decided to go to the Wharton School, which is one of the top business schools in the world. Knew that my grades on paper didn't look like I was a Wharton student, but I knew I was a Wharton student. And I applied to the school and I got rejected. You know, most people would have stopped right there, but I said no. I said I'm not going to stop. And what I did is I petitioned my rejection. I made a presentation of why the school needed me, and I made a presentation, and I scheduled a meeting with the admissions director, and I was able to convince him. Like, I started going through my presentation and he kept shaking his head, no, we can't accept you. And it came to a point where I thought he was gonna like send me out of his office. He said, stop, Mr. Burnett, I keep telling you no and you're still here. And he said, we only accept winners. And when he said, that's like something in my spirit rose up, and I stopped him and I said, look, I'm a winner. I said, look how I got through undergraduate. I was a undergraduate in aerospace engineering, never had money for the books, never was registered for the classes, yet I still graduated. And because of that, my grades were not that good, but I was a good student. I worked 40 hours a week, taking a full course load of classes, and I graduated, but again, with obstacles. And so I decided to go to the Wharton School and apply there, but my grades were not that good. And I did not allow that little obstacle to stop me. So when he came and told me, we accept winners, when I interrupted him, I said, I'm a winner. And I gave him the examples of when I was a winner. And then he said, Mr. Burnett, I hate you. And I thought he was going to throw me out. And he says, okay, we'll accept you. Right? And imagine if I took that rejection and I never decided to challenge the rejection. All the experiences that I'm experiencing today, I would not have been able to do it. And so it goes right back to the proverb for today is don't give up on your dream, even though it may seem that it's impossible, that it cannot happen. If you remain steadfast and you believe in it and continue to work for it. It also reminds me of something that Les Brown, a quote that he always said. I'm just going to read it for a second here. Let me just bring it up. He says, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it, if you gladly sweat for it and fret for it and plan for it and lose all terror of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, famine, nor gout, sickness nor pain of body and brain can keep you away from the thing that you want, if dogged and grim you beseech and beset it, with the help of God you will get it. And that's what it's all about. It's just staying in the game. Most people, one, don't have a dream. And most people, if they have a dream, their dreams are too small. And I've always looked for the best. I've always sought the best, and I fought for the best. And in my life, I've seen that when you put yourself in positions like that, the universe, God, everything conspires to make it happen. And so I'm just encouraging people that if you have a dream, continue to do it, because, you know, I'm just someone who grew up in Guyana, single parent, 7 kids, and a mom with a dream that all her 7 kids would go to college. And that's what I'm the product of someone who believed beyond belief and worked hard to get it. And that's all that you have to do.
Wow, incredible. I'm so happy that, we were able to make today's conversation possible. I'm learning so much from you. And for those who are just joining us, welcome to the Daily African Proverbs. We are live and direct on Clubhouse and also on YouTube. If you are on Clubhouse, thank you so much for joining us. I see very familiar faces, and I also see, new friends who are joining us today for the first time. I would encourage you to join us on the stage. The sound in Clubhouse, the sound of the audio is much better when you're on stage. Chelsea is probably on stage for the first time, and I'm sure this sound on Clubhouse is much better for her. That's one benefit of being on stage. The other benefit is that you can express yourself. Once we have this conversation with Andrew, we will also hear your perspectives on this proverb and also your commentary on the conversation that I am having here with my special guest. If you want to see Andrew and my face, we are live on YouTube, and the link is right at the top of the Clubhouse room. Join us there, please, as well, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, we are continuing on. When we have a special guest like we do today, we dig a little deeper into their story, and Andrew just shared with us his interpretation of this proverb. But I want you, Andrew, to take us a little further. I normally ask all my guests this question because I always feel driven by a story, a childhood story that occurred when I was around 8 years old. And, my mother had a shop, and she was the distributor of milk and bread in our neighborhood. And so I had a bicycle, and I was distributing milk and bread as one of the people that she had hired. And my first bicycle to do that job was given to me when I was 8 years old. And since then, I always remember that moment. And I wanted you to take us to a moment that keeps you grounded as a leader when you are negotiating some of the big deals that I know you've been involved in, a moment that makes you feel that I belong here, the moment that made you feel that you belonged to this wonderful business college that you attended. So share with us that story just briefly.
Well, it's probably the story of my grandfather, who was blind from birth and who was an entrepreneur. He believed that someone that was blind, and what he did was he sold newspapers. And it may seem something that's small, but again, a blind person who was successful with what he was doing, selling newspapers. And as a young child, I think we were like given routes to actually go sell the newspapers also back in Guyana. And I think for me, I look back at those times when I caught the entrepreneurial bug, and as I look back, it was some of those days where helping him with his business and seeing that you don't have to have sight or whatever. There are no limitations to what you can do, and I think that that's what his example showed me, is that okay, you don't have sight, but what else can you do, right? Because I think we're all gifted with something, and when we discover what that is, there is nothing that you can't do. And I think that example of me also at an early age, I think at 6 or so, I was working, sweeping up a barbershop and looking at the entrepreneur who ran that business. I think those early examples gave me examples of entrepreneurs and them being able to overcome certain obstacles. And I think that always is something that kept me as I look back at it, and it gave me the inspiration that I could do anything. There are no limits. There are no limits of what you can do.
I love that. I love that. You sharing the story of your grandfather and how incredible of an entrepreneur he was, despite the fact that he was blind, is amazing. And it reminds me of a very famous, he was a very famous blind musician from my tribe. He was called Olima Anditi. And he was completely blind, but he could play the guitar like ringing a bell, And I didn't know, I could not understand how he was able to master that. And so as you are describing the story of your grandfather, I was just trying to imagine, how did he know his customers? How did he know what was in the newspaper that he was distributing, It's just amazing. It's just amazing. For everyone who is just joining us on Clubhouse, thank you so much. I'm just so excited that you're here with us today. And we are doing this as part of the daily African Proverbs that we host here Monday to Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are live here on Clubhouse, but also on YouTube. If you want to join us on YouTube, the link is at the top of the room. And if you're already there, remember to subscribe to the channel. Remember to share the link to our conversation with your community. And also, if you are on Clubhouse, please remember to ping in 5 people to join us for today's conversation. Just 5 people. And clip this conversation, share it on Twitter, and also follow the African Father in America Club. That way, we can continue growing this beautiful, beautiful village. So once we wrap up this interview with my special guest, we are going to hear from everyone on stage. Now, I want to continue moving on just a little. One of the things that fascinate me the most about you, Andrew, is just the magnitude of some of the projects and the business deals that you've been working on. And so, I feel that it's really important for our listeners, especially young entrepreneurs like myself, to pay attention to some of the things you're going to say when it comes to your accomplishments in mergers and acquisitions, and also your work as a serial entrepreneur. Just share with us some of your biggest accomplishments, and also maybe one or two challenges that you have encountered in the course of your journey.
Oh, there's always challenges. Every step of the way there's challenges, and I think just to give you an overview of some of the businesses that we have right now. So I think big, right? My goal in life, this is my goal in life. I want to give away $1 billion during my lifetime, right? And so again, I put myself where I have a big problem. And as a problem solver, I have to figure out how to solve this problem. So that if I'm going to give away $1 billion, that means that I have to have much more than $1 billion, right? And so, but I met a person named Dr. Stanley Tam. I met him because my pastor was giving a sermon in church. They talked about this Christian entrepreneur who during his lifetime gave away $250 million. And so I said to myself, okay, if this entrepreneur could give away $250 million, why can't I give away $1 billion? And so when I heard that sermon, I checked to see if this person was still alive, and they were still alive. He started his business in 1929. And I did the math. I said, okay, well, he would be about 90 years old, right? And so I figured out he was still alive. He was living in Lima, Ohio, in the US. And I called him up and said, I've got to meet you. And I took a plane flight, and I went and I met him. And I spoke to him, and the guy was amazing. He was 93 years old, still driving. He actually drove me. I was a little shocked by that. But what happened was he showed me his business. And he wrote a book called God Owns My Business, one of the best business books you can ever read. And it just shows you when you dedicate your life to something, how the universe and God conspires to make it happen. And so this particular entrepreneur decided to give away $1 billion and give away 100% of the profits from his businesses over like a 40-year period of time. And that's how he was able to give away more than $250 million. And so when I met him, I said, you know what? I want a double portion of your anointing. And so he prayed over me, and he says, okay. And he sent me back to New York. And that's how I'm on the journey that I am today. And so and I want to tell people, when I started out, there was nothing, literally nothing. It took me 20 years to learn what it takes to be an entrepreneur. 20 years, that means 20 years of what people call failures and setbacks and things not working out. 20 years of, there was even a time when my mom gave me the family home. She said, Andrew, I'm trusting you with this home to start your business, take out a loan against it, whatever you need to do. And there was a point when business wasn't working too well, and that home was in jeopardy. And again, it's by the grace of God that I was able to get the resources to save that home. And And what I want to tell entrepreneurs is that entrepreneurship is not easy. But if you believe in yourself and you continue to believe in yourself, the universe, God, puts people in your way who will help you along your way. And so I was working for a multimillionaire, and I had this issue, and he actually wrote me a check for like $90,000 to help me to save that property. And that was because of relationships. And it happened after one of my friends. I told her I needed this amount of money, and she said, "Let's pray about it." I said, "I don't need prayer. I just need the money." But after we prayed, it was like I was inspired to call this person, and they said yes. And so the journey was not easy. And I want to tell people it was not easy. But over the years, I saw, and I always questioned my mom. I said, "Mom, why do these things keep happening to me?" And she says, "Andrew, it's building your character." I was like, "Mom, I have so much character, I don't even know what to do about it because of all these things." But what those moments of setback, it taught me certain lessons. It gave me the wisdom to, one, not to repeat those things again. And it gave me the foundation and the fortitude to be able to overcome anything. And so today, if we look at what we're doing now, we own uh, a telecommunications infrastructure company. So the fiber optic lines that are going into most homes, we have a company that actually installs that. And we were able to get a multi-million-dollar subcontract to do that work. And if you know that this type of work can be done here in the US, it could be done in the Middle East, it could be done in Africa. So we have an opportunity with this business to build an international infrastructure company. And so we have that. I also have a consultancy that does mergers and acquisitions consulting. We are buying a hotel in Jamaica. We're buying a couple other businesses in Jamaica, and we also have. Sometimes I need to look at all the things that we're doing. We're purchasing a precision manufacturing business that works with the aircraft industry. We have a technology business. We're also working on a mobile app that we are looking to launch later this year. And then we also have a Web3 project, which you're going to hear of in a couple weeks, which I think is going to be very big. We're doing some groundbreaking things in the Web3 space with NFTs. And so that's going to be coming out soon. So we're doing a lot of things, many different industries. My biggest challenge has always been capital. And where do we get the capital to do this? And this is where relationships come in too. Relationships are helping us access the capital in a big way. It's like most of these businesses that we're acquiring, we're raising 10, $15 million in order to acquire these businesses. And it's the relationships that are helping us to do that. And so for something that started with nothing, we are building a portfolio of companies that we run and manage. And they range from technology to manufacturing to to even on the technology side and on a number of fronts. So and we're doing it. And what's helped me to do that was really partnering with individuals. In my early stages of business, I was looking to do it all by myself. And as I've learned to partner with people, it has really helped to make the difference. It is what has helped to really multiply my ability to handle all these projects. So with all these projects, I have teams of people who are working on the projects with me, and in exchange, they're getting an equity stake in the ventures also. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is incredible. This is incredible. Andrew, thank you very much. For those who are joining us for the first time, like my brother Serone, who is an amazing artist in Nairobi, Kenya, thank you. Thank you so much. And, if you are on stage, we are going to hear your perspectives in just a moment. For now, you can start thinking about what you're picking up from the conversation that I'm having with my special guest, Andrew Barnett, and also think about your own interpretation of today's proverb that we are discussing. The proverb is from South Sudan. We have a South Sudanese on stage that is probably going to take it even further, sense us. The proverb says, when the monkey can't reach the ripe banana with his hand, he says it is not sweet. He says it is not sweet. And when we are having the daily African proverbs, I also pick 3 things that I think we could learn after our conversation or by the end of our conversation. And because the topic today is around procrastination and how it can steal your time, one of the things I suggest is you create a to-do list with deadlines. Number 2, set alarms on your phone that remind you of the tasks you need to complete. And number 3, reward yourself with something small after completing each task. Those are my ideas. But based on everything that Andrew just shared with us, I want him to also share with us how he has overcome procrastination and what are some strategies that he can give us around staying focused and not letting laziness and procrastination, win.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely some things that I encounter at times. What I've come to understand is, like, how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. And I think procrastination happens when we are overwhelmed by something that seems big. And so the thing that you have to do is, one, you have to start, and you start small. And as you start, what happens is that you gather momentum, you start to see some results, and it helps to build the momentum to get the job done. So the first thing is to get started and just do something related to it. And I've found that has been the thing that has kept me going along the way.
Wonderful. So, Andrew, I need a favor from you. Because we are now going to hear from our speakers, and after they share, I'm going to ask you to just summarize everything you had in your closing remarks, and also share with us how we can stay connected with you. So just, jot some notes of some of the nuggets of wisdom you get from our speakers today. And we are going to start with Chelsea. And Chelsea, share with us where you're joining us from and what your interpretation of today's proverb is. And also if you have any comment from the conversation that Andrew and myself have been having. For those who are meeting Chelsea for the first time, Chelsea is an amazing young leader. She's in Kisumu, and she's one of the beneficiaries of the work that, One Vibe Africa, the organization I founded, is doing over there in Kenya. She's, other people who are part of our team are Steve and Stella, who are also down in the audience. Chelsea, I'll pass you the microphone. The way that you unmute to speak here on Clubhouse is at the bottom right corner, there's that microphone, icon. There you go. Haya, ongea sasa.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Chelsea Johannes, and Simon has said I'm one of the beneficiaries of One Vibe Africa, and I strongly believe this has been one of the best opportunities there ever could be, because film and everything has been my passion. And regarding today's topic, I'm like one of the biggest procrastinators, so like said no matter where I am, this I really have to attend this session. So Simon, thank you so much, and thank you everyone out there. Much love.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for being so courageous, Chelsea, and joining the stage. I think you've challenged Steve and Stella to do the same, in the future. So I appreciate you. Do you have anything else to say, or is it okay if I just mute you for now and we go to Thandisizwe?
It's okay. You can just mute.
Okay. And
Thank
also,
you so much.
no problem. If you want to mute yourself, you can go to the bottom right corner. That's another way you can always do it yourself. There you go. Perfect. Now you can teach Stella and Steve how to use Clubhouse. Thandisizwe, how are you? Thank you so much for your continued support. Share with us your perspectives, please. And also where you're joining us from.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. First, I just want to say, Chelsea, yes, for the energy. I don't know, you just seem happy to be here, happy to be to wake up breathing this morning. And Simon, good for you teaching people how to use Clubhouse. That just made me smile a little bit. Y'all's interaction. I am Thandisizwe, my dad, or actually not my dad, because I have a dad, a mother, and a father. Blessed to have 3 parents. My father always told me not to say, my name is. He always said, you say, I am Thandisizwe. And I actually am from Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I am here in Auburn, New York, with a group of wonderful activists, community leaders, artists, and we're celebrating Harriet Tubman here. Yesterday was March 10th. They said that that she transitioned on the 10th. So we're here, and it feels really good to be here celebrating such a warrior. Today's African proverb: when the monkey can't reach the right banana with his hand, he says it's not sweet. Whew. This one speaks to me. Procrastination is the thief of time. I struggle with procrastination. I'm actually procrastinating right now. I've been up for like an hour and a half. Checkout is at 11. It's 9:45 in Auburn. There's a whole bunch of stuff on my bed that I fell asleep with. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the chair. My bags need to be packed, and I have homework to do. But I wanted to be on this call, and even though my homework is more important than this call is important to me too. So I made a decision to get on the call instead of doing my homework, because the call makes me feel good. And that's what happens a lot of time with procrastination. I'm watching Bel Air on Peacock because the show makes me feel good instead of cooking dinner, right? Dinner's supposed to be ready at 7, but I'm procrastinating. And I think that not only do I struggle with this, I think that Black people really struggle with procrastination. I think that Black people have a good reason, when you think of CP time, colored people time. I think we do have a legit excuse, but we also have a really good reason to be better. uh, People of African descent, and people can say, oh, everyone's of African descent, but Black people, right? We are the best naturally. In order to really do what we need to do, we must dismantle our bad habits, no matter where and what they stem from, right? So, because we are the best naturally, Black excellence, we do everything the best, we must dismantle these bad habits, no matter what and where they stem from, right? This proverb reminds me of how we lie to ourselves all the time. You try to talk to the beautiful woman at the bar, right? You go over there, she don't want to give you her number. So then when you go back to your homeboys, you say, oh, she was ugly up close anyway. It's like, no, honey, she said no, right? Or you go out with your friends knowing you have a paper due in the morning, and then you lie to yourself and say you're going to get up early to finish it, knowing that you probably won't get up early to finish it, right? These lies are just a way to justify our procrastination. And when I really break it down, like I said earlier, I think it comes down to discipline and priorities. I also like that our speaker talked about relationships. Relationships help us establish capital for our business. I think that relationships can also help to hold ourselves and our business partners and our friends and our lovers and our family accountable. So when Simon, when you were asking about solutions, because I think it's always important to be solution based, a solution when it comes to procrastination is, accountability, right? You have something that you need to get done. You struggle with procrastination. Why don't you and your best friend, set some alarms, call each other, make sure that you all are doing what you need to do. And I think that when one of us win, we all win. So I hope that this is something that we can work on together. Thank y'all.
Wow, thank you, Thandi Sizwe. I just love, I feel that every time you continue joining us for this session, you continue sharing more and more and more, and it's just richer. So thank you for your contribution again today. And the journey that you are on to honor Harriet Tubman is very much close to my heart. So thank you for all that you do. Now we are going to go to Jay. How are you doing, Jay? And where are you joining us from? And what are your perspectives on today's proverb and the conversation we are having here with Andrew Burnett?
Thank you, Brother Simon, and blessings to everyone in this room. The first thing that came to mind was one of my favorite movies of all time, is Les Miserables. And he had a heart of honesty and integrity and generosity despite all his hardships. And that resulted in him stealing, for those that know the movie. But it was out of a desperation and out of a genuine and sincere need. And through his life, his integrity and his honesty never changed. And he gave and gave and gave and forgave and forgave and forgave. And that kind of reminded me of you a little bit. We were talking about that $90,000 that was given to save your home. And it was given without strings attached. And that is now something that's in your heart and in your mind to give to someone else to help in their time of need without strings attached. Regarding that banana and that monkey, it's just an excuse. It's just, he just can't reach it with his hand. That's life. Things that you can't see. You don't think you can accomplish it. You don't think you can do it. You don't think you can reach it. You don't have the support you believe you need. You need to find another way. If you can't reach it with your hand, find another way. Something that's that important to you, that you really want, that you truly want to accomplish in life, that you'll find a way to make it happen. And so that's kind of how I interpreted that proverb. You got to let those excuses go if you really want to achieve your goal, if that is definitely a goal for you. And I do recall very quickly that my father, you're talking about parents and people who motivated you in the 20 years that are lost, not necessarily through procrastination, but it's just that you just didn't have the motivation. Whatever it took, you didn't find that light within you. You didn't see the skills and the abilities that you had. And maybe it took someone else to show that to help you, to encourage you, to motivate you. And as my father was so talented, and I couldn't understand why I didn't have his gifts, teaching himself how to play the piano. He could build a house from scratch, never needing directions to put things together. It was amazing to me. And my brother ended up with that same gift. It was just a natural, it was innate. And then my sister could draw. And I honestly lost time looking at other people. Why can't I do it? Why am I not like them? What is my talent? And that 20 years went by until I finally found it, or it found me. This is Jay, and I'm finished speaking. Thank you for letting me talk. I appreciate it.
Wow, thank you, Jay. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate you as well. You're one of those people that when you talk, I listen. I just drop everything I was being distracted with and I just pay attention because of how powerful of a speaker you are. So thank you. Census, this proverb is from South Sudan. And, for those who are joining us for the first time, thank you. I'm seeing many, many familiar faces who have been supporting this space for a long time. I truly appreciate you. I see Jag, I see Joseph and David. I just want to give you all a quick special shout out. And of course, Femi and Sayo and Soleil, Najaha, Luca, all of you are valued. Thank you for being here. We are heading towards the end of our conversation today, maybe in the next 10 or 15 minutes. And I still want to encourage you to ping 5 people to join us for today's conversation. We are also live on YouTube. You can join us with the link at the top of the room so that we can also hear your perspectives. But for now, we are going to hear from Census. Census, share with us where you are joining us from and also your thoughts about today's proverb from South Sudan.
Hi, Simon. Hi, everyone. Hi, Andrew Bernard. Great to be speaking to you and all those who joined us. I am joining from the Midwest. And this proverb, Simon, you constantly keep bringing proverbs to just poke me, question my lack of inaction. When I think of it in some of the local dialects, it makes so much sense. Where people will go and try and do something and not really work hard on it, but they just come out of there and just say, that's not even that person wasn't even a kind person. In fact, we saved ourselves by not getting hold of them, or that food wasn't even good. We were just pushing ourselves to get into that restaurant for no reason. So it's a way of people calming themselves, feeling themselves feel good with their lack of inaction, instead of being honest and saying, dang it, I really missed out. I wanted to do that. And it also has to do with ego, because with all the ego that a lot of us have, and especially with men, it's constantly used as a way to justify their lack of change. And I say that because when I look at culturally at the difference between the sexes, men are supposed to do whatever it is and get away with it because of the patriarchy system, while a woman is not afforded the same. But then it also means a man is allowed to be lazy and use such excuses like, she wasn't even a good person, or this person is just evil. Use all those excuses for their lack of inaction. And it's more so in the ego, right? So if you look at it in your natural life and you just accept your faults and accept your weakness and your blind spot, grow more centered and more focused. So thank you for poking my eyes and trying to pull that all out of me. I also use it to challenge people in terms of lack of inaction. To all those who know, we have all these conflicts that are happening across different parts of South Sudan, and other people would say, those people looked for it anyway. Why did they go there? Or why are they always insulting us? Let them pay the price. It doesn't, the things that we use does not equate to the action that has been committed. But we're happy to use those excuses and procrastinate on our inability to call people out, to call governments out, to call leaders out for not finding solutions that are long term, for not working with people to make certain changes happen. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. Thank you very much. Great discussion as always. This is Census. I'm complete.
Oh, Census, thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you're doing to try and help mitigate the current situation in South Sudan. It can be even difficult to start talking about. So, it's not easy, but thank you. And now we want to go on to Jody Ann. Jody Ann, how are you, and what are your perspectives on this proverb, and where are you joining us from? Thank you so much. And by the way, the proverb says, when the monkey can't reach the ripe banana with his hand, he says it's not sweet.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here, Simon. And great proverb. I am Jody Ann, and I am currently joining you from Durham, North Carolina. This is not home base. I'm actually here visiting my mother. But for the topic at hand, procrastination, I love what, and forgive me if I ruin your name. It's such a beautiful name. Tandy Seasway, correct me if I'm wrong. I hope I said that right. I love how transparent she was with how she was engaging in a little bit of procrastination this morning, because that was so real. I think we've all been in that place where it's far more comfortable to put even important things off. And we tend to move and make movements, take steps to get things done if there's pressure or pain applied. And so procrastination is really an effort to avoid the pressure and the pain. So whether it's watching the latest episode of Bel Air, or indulging in something sweet that you shouldn't eat, in order to avoid the inevitable, whether it's that deadline or that project that needs to be submitted, whatever it is, human nature, we tend to avoid the pain and the pressure as much as we can. But what I've come to find, and I believe Andrew touched on this in response to one of your questions, Simon, was just get moving. Just get moving. I mean, I believe I want to say physics. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've studied any of these things, but a body at rest tends to stay at rest, and a body in motion tends to stay in motion. So if we make a point of getting moving, getting out of that inertia, whether it's taken on the form of procrastination, it'd be easy to just put it off, that sort of thing. But if we get up and we get moving, at least just taking one step in the direction of the thing that we know needs to get done, then we will build up that momentum that can help us to get over that hump. And I even love what you said, Simon, about rewarding yourself, right? So instead of saying that the banana isn't sweet, hey, reach out for it and then reward yourself with it when you reach it. Even if it's just getting that one little thing done, like just opening up the Word document and typing a line on that, whatever the project it is that you're working on, or getting up and putting on the shoes and walking around the house before you go to the gym, whatever it is, just taking that one step to get in motion. That's usually the hardest step. And then from there, just building that momentum and being sure to reward yourself after the fact. Then you'll come to find that, hey, the banana is actually worth reaching out for and actually worth taking hold of. And it makes your labor that much more sweet as well. So thank you for this great conversation. And I'm glad I could contribute. I am Jody Ann, and I'm complete.
Wonderful, Jodian. Thank you for your wonderful contribution and for taking care of your mother. You know, our mothers are us. So thank you for what you've done. Fred, thank you for your consistency. And, you know, on the YouTube chat, you are saying that, you know, is it me or someone snoring in the background? And for a moment earlier, I also heard that voice. So, you know, sometimes this room can be so comfortable. This conversation can be so comfortable.
That was me, y'all. I mean, I wasn't snoring, but my roommate were here, you know, doubled up, tripled up in the room. My roommate's mom is snoring, but you know, she's hearing all of this in her subconscious, so she's getting it too, okay?
Oh, that's the best. That's the best. Thank you, Sandy Sizwe. And Fred, how are you doing? Where are you joining us from? And and what is your interpretation of today's proverb?
All right, so good morning. I always mess this up. You always ask me to do it, but I'm calling from Ohio. I'm in Akron, right below Cleveland. And I saw this proverb book yesterday when the live was posted. And it's a few things I want to put on the table. And I always go to the aspect of words. So I looked at the aspect of, of bananas. And in a dream state, dream symbolism, a banana is a fruit of energy. It represents money, savings. It also can reflect an abundance and what have you. Now, I didn't look up the aspect of monkey, but the first thing I saw in this is when the monkey tried to reach with his hand. Oh, it said ain't sweet, but Andrew mentioned about the aspect of relationships. Well, if the monkey hand is too short, their relationship, it says, okay, the monkey has to turn around and ask for a hand to get it, their partnership aspect. So that's what I saw in that. And a lot of people around me, they adopt to certain words, key phrases, where the word entrepreneurship or entrepreneur, an aspect of business. Honestly, I don't like that word entrepreneurship. I don't like it, never liked it. I read in a couple of books with different meanings. I'm a business person. I even hate the aspect of small business because you put in a spirit, the origin or spirit of the word tends to hinder your efforts in certain things. When the hindrance kicks in, fear kicks in. That's where the procrastination comes in. That's when the laziness kicks in. You have aspect of a visionary and a dreamer. Those two different things. Visionary to me, for me, if you look up the comparison, go Google it, you will have a different, you have foresight, you have action, you have planning. So I'm saying all these different definitions because people adopt certain habits based on certain words. Like an entrepreneur, they jump out on a dream and it may not have efficient planning behind it. A person that's in business takes the proper steps, this, that, and the other. So when you get in that procrastination, it's like this fear is because steps have been skipped or the dreams have been averted because some reality has kicked in. It's so many aspects to that. So when I talk to entrepreneurs, they actually fight me because they have skipped steps and I haven't. So I try to give them a hand to go get the banana. Hey, go back and put those proper steps in, get that fear out the way. Because me as a business person, to be honest, and this may sound full of ego, I do not know what failure looks like. I don't. Because everything that I've encountered with the proper vision and proper steps, if I did not achieve it, it's the aspect of I lost interest or I saw something better. I don't operate on fear. I don't do the entrepreneurship thing because from the people operating in, I know Andrew mentioned he used it a few times and he had evidence of all these different businesses. So I respect that. But most of the people I know, they use it as a blanket to skip steps, and then when they procrastinate, they change or refuse to reach for that banana. That's what I just want to put on there Hopefully it makes sense. I did a lot of rambling on that today. So I yield the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. You know, it's always amazing how you normally actually take word by word of these proverbs and dissect it. And as you are speaking, it also reminded me that the monkey in this proverb is trying to reach the ripe banana with his hand. So maybe the monkey is standing on the ground and trying to raise their hand and reach the banana, while the monkey can also really jump very high. The monkey can jump between trees, but it doesn't want to do it. So I think Stella did a great job, just guiding us towards our conversation today, where we are talking about procrastination and how it can actually steal your time. So we've come to the tail end of our conversation, and Andrew is going to just wrap our session for us by, just sharing some of the nuggets that he picked up from today, and then I will share a few remarks before we close. So Andrew, the mic is yours now.
Sure. Thank you, Simon. Again, from some of the speakers, is really having accountability partners who can help you achieve the goals that you're going after. And also being an observer of yourself. When you observe yourself in those moments when you are procrastinating, you also need to look at what is the impact that the procrastination is going to have on me, and what is the impact it's going to have on others also. And do not despise small beginnings, because everything big started out small. A dream is going to remain a dream unless you take action, and unless you have a plan. That was indicated also. And the moment that you do that, the universe will conspire to bring all the resources to you. Do not despise the small beginnings. It's either ego and excuses. So we need to get rid of our egos and get rid of excuses, and put in your mindset that I am the cause. If it's to be, then it's up to me. All right. Get many friends who can help you to reach the banana, and then you can share with those friends also. Again, it's being resourceful and problem solving. Moving from avoiding pain and pressure versus the joy that's set before you. Look at the joy that you will have if you accomplish it, right? So don't look at the pain, but look at the joy that that will be there once you accomplish your particular goal. And take small steps and reward yourself afterwards. And there's a reality of being an entrepreneur. Your dream, if it remains a dream, can become a nightmare without the proper planning. And to wrap it up is that we never lose. We either win or we learn. And that's
Wonderful.
it.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I truly appreciate you for making the time to join us today. And I want you to share with our viewers and listeners how they can stay in touch with you, how they can stay connected with you.
I'm on Instagram. I think it's Drew Burnett 06. So you can reach me there. That's probably the best place to reach me. One of the things that we do have is we have a cohort of teaching young people how to do mergers and acquisitions, and I think we've had it to be informal, and I think we really need to formalize it. So maybe once or twice a year, we're going to bring on new people to join our cohort. So if you're interested in learning about mergers and acquisitions, there's an opportunity to do so. So there's no, you don't have to pay or anything, but you do have to do the work, right? I'll give you an example. 2 young men that I met We met at the conference. They said that they were interested in mergers and acquisitions. And we're actually days away from closing our first business deal together, which is a $6 million acquisition. Again, just met them a year ago, and they've gone through the process. So if you're interested in that, you could just contact me through either Clubhouse or through Instagram. That's it.
Fantastic, fantastic. I will be reaching out to you for what you just shared, and also for other ideas. I would love to see a few people from Africa join that cohort. So thank you again, and for everybody else, have a beautiful day. Remember, next Wednesday and every Wednesday we are giving away 2 copies of Rooted in Love, my first book. It's available on Amazon, and if you go to my link tree on Instagram and Twitter, you'll also be able to grab a copy there. With that, thank you again. Have a beautiful weekend. And Andrew, thank you so much. I'm grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you, Simon.
All right. Take care.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okelo, live from Seattle, Washington.